Now we need to go on to organizational affairs. I need a motion to affirm regular committee of the whole meetings 2013 through 14, school board meeting calendar. Kevin, you want to say what we did 1 year?
We did 1 year this year because the previous board passed a 2-year calendar and it conflicted on both occasions with spring break and with the winter break. And although the the superintendent and principal are 12-month employees, a lot of our staff are not, so it limits the amount of information and things we can present to the board. Also with some of the administrative contracts of vacations, days are used as expire at the end of the fiscal year, it limits then vacation time that can be taken if we're limiting vacation days. So I think it's better to align the meeting schedule for 1 year, and then this way we made sure that we were not meeting during spring break and some of the other district holidays.
Can I ask a question before we put it up for a motion? We have an item further down where we're going to talk about whether we're going to have board committees, right?
Yes.
And it's my understanding where when boards have board committees, they tend not to have meetings, committee of the whole meetings. Would it make sense for us to discuss whether we're going to have board committees before we adopt the calendar with the committee of the whole meetings?
We can always delete them if we don't take them, you know what I mean? It's just a proposal what we're scheduling for. I think that the committee of whole meetings themselves we get a lot of good discussion on that, so.
And in the past, sometimes, like if finance or personnel, they would do a committee of the whole finance personnel, so, you know, if there were pressing issues, they could just be added on to that meeting that's scheduled.
Okay.
A year ago, I asked if the fourth Tuesday could be moved to either the fourth Monday or third Tuesday. I have a conflict on the fourth Tuesday with the Village of Brookfield. I'm a commissioner, I'm one of their conservation commissioner, and we meet on the fourth Tuesday.
So do you want to make a motion to make the committee of the whole meetings on Thursday? What day you want to have that at?
Does Monday work? We met on Mondays in the past. Does everybody like the fourth week? Would you want to do the third
Do you
Tuesday?
have a specific, well, you're going to meet second and third. You're going to one right after the other. Reason why we did second and fourth Tuesday was because you had to break in there and you get some committee meetings done or advisory councils done to make it from there.
Well, this is our business meeting, so I'm asking for suggestions. Does anybody else have a conflict?
How about the fourth Thursday then?
The fourth Thursday would work.
So if you want to make a motion to make the committee of the whole meetings on the fourth Thursday?
All right. Would the fourth Thursday work? Does anybody have a conflict on Thursday of the fourth week in the month?
I prefer to have them on the same day of the month.
Yeah.
Could we?
That's my personal preference for scheduling and planning, that I don't, you know, because I sometimes have to work after hours, and if I can just block my Tuesdays out, because currently we're meeting quite often on the off Tuesdays also. And so I've been kind of planning my schedule like that, me personally. That's.
So would you be willing then, you want to move the regular meetings to the second Thursday and the committee of the whole to the fourth Thursday? Would that meet your need and her need?
Or does the third Tuesday for a committee of the whole, is it a problem to have 2 weeks in a row?
I think it is because you got to have a break in between, so. That's my opinion, and I do have a conflict on Thursday, so.
Okay, what about Monday? We met several Mondays in a row for the contracts. Mondays tend to be a lighter evening.
So put a suggestion out there if you want to make the motion and see if you get a second and let the board vote on it.
Well, you know, we proposed the calendar. I think it doesn't have to be a motion. We can talk about which dates would work. Would the fourth Monday work for people? Because
well, Laura, I mean, this is nothing personal, and I'm glad you're serving on the Brookfield thing, but I personally don't want to mess with this at all. And it's nothing, no slight against you, but I like, just like Mike said, the fourth or the Tuesdays.
Okay.
But as a board, in good conscience, we should try and work with each other when we schedule our meetings to do the negotiations. For many years, this board meeting was at 7:30, and in the last 2 years, it was brought down to 7. So there's always ebbs and flows and when meetings happen.
All right, do I have a motion on this? And if you don't want it to have the committee of the whole on that second Tuesday, you can vote no on it.
Well, I think we could, as a committee, I think we should try to come to some resolution on when we, as a whole group, could meet.
There's a
Well,
problem,
There's a status quo now, and the question is changing it.
and there's a problem on Thursdays with our taping of the TV show. Am I right, Gary?
Well,
So-
we've had other days where Mr. Prokes didn't tape the program, and we've had other people tape the program. I mean, if we have a commitment to environmental issues, that is a standing committee, village, we wouldn't have a meeting on one of your Brookfield committee days.
All right, do we have a motion on this?
Do we have I mean, should we just vote on this original calendar, Mike?
A vote on the original calendar?
Yeah. Is there a,
Yeah, resolved, it's on.
okay, I'll read it. Resolved, the Board of Education, Township High School District 2, Cook County, Illinois, hereby affirms the regular committee of the whole meeting dates for 2013-14 school board calendar is presented in the May 7, 2013 board agenda packet.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike Welch.
I think it would be a kind gesture for people to actually consider Laura's proposal and see if there is a different 2 days, the same day of the week, in the second and fourth week of the month, when we can make this happen. And, you know, well, I doubt if everybody blocked off their Tuesdays and for the next year, maybe they did, but she's asked 2 times in a row. And, you know, if there's a way to work it out with her, I don't see, you know, it being a disadvantage to the community or the other board members.
Any other discussion?
I
Mary Ann?
agree, if there's a way that works, I'm
Yeah.
willing to listen to it.
Mary Ann?
Mr. Gryczan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hruska?
No?
Dr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Jepson?
Yes, but willing to listen to an amendment on the committee of the whole.
Mr. Walsh?
No.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Cindy?
Yes. All right, next one is
I
authorization.
would like to say while we're in meeting, I think it shows that as a committee, I asked a year ago, and you said the calendar had been voted on. I think it shows in public that we are not willing to work or make concessions with different people on this board. I'm a commissioner of one of our feeder villages. And I think that was important, and I'm working towards a common good that this school has one of its
So
goals.
if you want to put an addendum onto this, to make a motion. And what happened last time is you made a motion again, and it was voted down by a majority of the
We
board last year.
We shouldn't have to make an emotion. When we decided to meet on Mondays to discuss the contract, we didn't have to make a motion that we would meet on Monday. We said, when can we
Laura,
all meet?
The board has made a motion, and it's voted on. The majority of the board said we're gonna.
Okay?
So we're moving on to the
So then
next.
I will say in public that I think it is unreasonable of the board 2 years in a row to deny that request.
Well, I'll make a motion then. I'll move that we do the committee of the whole on the fourth Monday of every month.
Second.
Second by Tim Walsh. Any
Could
other
we-
discussion?
Yeah, I mean, the committee of the whole tends to be better attended than
I agree.
this regular meeting.
I agree.
Is there going to be some consequences for the students, for the?
Well, you're
for
not
the,
gonna have
For
TV.
the TV, for?
I don't
what
know
have
about
you?
TV, but.
And second, Laura, I served on a commission within the village. I have flexibility when I call those meetings. Can't you have flexibility? Why is your meeting scheduled to be wholehearted on the fourth Tuesday of the month? Have you worked with them to try to move that meeting?
I did ask them when we voted it down last year, and that's why I waited the year. And I'm not the chair. If I was the chair, I'd move it, but I'm not. I serve on that committee. And the 8 members that are on that committee and do the restoration work, that's when they can meet.
Okay.
That's their regular meeting, that's not the second committee. Our business meeting, if it was on the second Tuesday during our business meeting, in fact, I chose not to be a commissioner when I was on the board the first time because they met the first Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday, and then they went to the fourth Tuesday to accommodate me that time, and then I became a commissioner before I was elected to the board. So I did work around the business meeting of RB and waited, but then RB moved. So the commission did move once, but then RB moved.
But you haven't talked to the chairman about moving?
I have asked, when we voted it down last year, I asked if there was possibility of that moving, but it's a small commission, and many of the members work at the zoo, and that's the day that they can meet. That's their one meeting a month, it's the fourth Tuesday.
Okay. Mary Ann?
I just think if you had known you were going to bring this up, you could have dropped an email to all the board members when you got the packet and said that this again was going to be a conflict. I don't know that you were or weren't currently serving in that from 2 years ago. So, I'm just caught between, trying to plan for things and now trying to change things, so.
Mike, this is the only time the board could have talked about this with more than 2 people is at this meeting. It was put in the agenda. We can't have a discussion more than 1 member outside of Open Meetings Act, so.
She could have put an email out that said, do not reply at all, and said, I'm gonna have, I have a conflict again this year with the Thursday meetings. That's all I was just referencing.
All right, any other discussion?
I'd just like to ask one other question. Sometimes when this discussion comes up, it says when is our crew available? I presume, Kevin, we don't ask for much as a board, but if we directed you or asked you, we could have the crew available in most instances when we need it. I mean, we don't do it when they're out of school, but it keeps coming up as our videographers available, but do you have some control on the ability to make them available when the board would want them to be available?
I don't have control of the sponsor's hours outside of the 8 hours he works during the day.
Okay.
So if there's a conflict with him, I'd have to try to find somebody else to supervise the kids that understand production.
Okay.
I just want to say something. I think it's important to have a regular schedule for the community that wants to watch this on TV. And personally, I am committed to the schedule Tuesday. And it's nothing against Laura, it's nothing against you. That's just the way it is.
Anybody else? Mary Ann?
Ms. Hruska?
Yes?
Dr. King?
No.
Mr. Jepson?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
No.
Mr. Gryczan?
No.
Mr. Cindy?
No.